Hello once again, BTS Army. I'm Jaguar, and today we are reviewing RM's Right Place, Wrong Person music album. As you may know, RM is the leader and rapper of superstar K-pop group BTS, and while most of the members are currently in military service, which is mandatory within the country of South Korea, RM's able to slide out a new studio album for us, Right Place, Wrong Person. This is his second studio album from what I know, and he's definitely being influenced by a lot of modern artists like Tyler the Creator, as what I've heard from Lost, one of the singles off the album. So let's check it out. But before we start crying, please do like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. Let's start. Right People, Wrong Place, first track. Alright, Right People, Wrong Place. I do believe this is a strong start to his album. It definitely represents his thematics of, being lost in time and space, and just the cascading of layering of instruments. And you start with that really eerie and mysterious guitar arpeggio, along with the bass, and then the drums come in, and the synthesizer, the weird arpeggio synthesizer that's like you can definitely see that he stays on theme just to keep you interested even within the first track. Obviously, this is just a sample of what's to come. All right. This song is very evident that RM is definitely experimenting with the sound. It's more dingy and dark, which is very much props to him. I feel like this chorus is just alright. Like, I could make this right place for you. It's those steps. I just feel like it doesn't really come up to that fruition. The verses are great. It's kind of interesting how he puts the second verse at last, and I don't know, it kind of makes it like he just has like a footnote to say, which is like, forever ever wish you a true happiness. Damn. Right. But I think the main part of the song that I truly like is the bridge, where it kind of like crescendos, and that's what you kind of want to look for within the chorus, but I just didn't feel that. I like the chorus felt like a pre-chorus, right? I'm gonna make this right place for you. I could make it just right for you. And yeah, I mean, it's a good song. His bars are good. His bars are good. Next song, Out of Love. Out of Love kind of feels out of place. I think it's very much like coming from this place of disdain, and I saw the Radiohead reference where he says, "Creep, I don't belong here." I'm a big Radiohead fan, and I just think, yeah, I get it that it's within theme of like this idea of being out of place, out of love. I just find the whole just a pack of cigarette, burn down all the love and the hate, the right and the wrongs. I guess he smokes. It's kind of funny how within the Korean music scene, smoking is already considered to be like foul, and it's like smoking kills. I know it's kind of his edgy song within this track list, I believe, and I'll let it pass because he's just trying to be a bit more on the rougher side in terms of the lyricism. It's not too about making the double entendres and stuff like that. It's definitely just like he's just saying the F word as much as he can and saying, I don't belong here. I know that feeling. You can F my body, can't F my mind. Like, yeah, that's true. I feel like I would have said that if I was angry. It comes and goes. Domodachi. Alright, Domodachi comes off as one of the stronger songs that I've heard, and I think it's just a lending to RM's prowess as a, rapper. Like, these are hard-hitting bars by far from what I've heard. The get high, getting fiery in Saudi, let me go ape, get down with the party. Man, like, that's wild. And considering that it's just a better version of what happened in Out of Love. It's very him flexing on how well he can spit bars. And the added feature of Lil Sims, who's the British singer / rapper, I think goes way into it. Like, I love how this idea of being out of place, really trying to show that no one knows you. You may know my name, but you don't know me, which is what Lil Sims said. I like how even the featured artists understand the vision that RM's trying to portray within this album. And I give props to that. This is one of the better songs on the album, by far. Let's go to Question Mark, featuring Domi and JD Beck, who are really good musicians. Yeah, it's just an amazing session with RM, Domi, and JD Beck. Like, there's nothing really much to say. If you know these musicians and music artists, that's what they make, and just the rhythms and melodies sound so perfectly entwined. And the verse by RM's pretty short, but it's just like, just spoken commentary on top of it. There's that one part where he says, you got the best of me. You can hear the sincerity in his voice. I think he's at that place where it's like, man, I gave this time to someone and I can never get it back, and that sucks, right? Moving on to Groin. So Groin is, I think, very similar to Ala Love. It just feels kind of lackluster compared to some of the other tracks, in my honest opinion. Regardless if they're in K-pop or not, even rappers within the Western hemisphere, if you use the F word a bit too much, I feel like you're just compensating that you're not able to really come up with other words to fill up the bars. And that's how I feel about this. And the chorus is kind of just meh. I like the I see what I see, I be what I be. That part's great, but that's only like 6 seconds, 7 seconds of the song. Most of the verses are in Korean, so I can't really lend my full judgment to it. But apparently some of the parts are about his visit to a Buddhist temple from Genius, supposedly. I understand that it's kind of like this idea of not respecting his boundaries and how, he's not a diplomat. Yeah, I think it's just him talking about like, I'll be who I want to be. When you initially listen to a song, it's not like you're gonna be looking up the lyrics immediately. You just kind of want it to take you where it goes musically. And I feel like the music itself is fine, great production as well. It's just the substance of the song kind of leaks through. Next, Heaven. Heaven's another standout track alongside Domodachi. I think this is definitely RM expanding his horizons musically and sonically. This is a great song by far compared to some of the throwaway tracks here, like, I don't know, Out of Love, Groin. I feel like this is definitely a track that should not be missed within this album, and it's great. I absolutely enjoyed that song, and it's in full English. Obviously, the more the English there is, the better it is for me to actually feel and understand what you're trying to portray within a song, obviously. So I don't really try to dock off points. Oh, it's in Korean, I don't understand it. I'll try my best to understand, but the mere fact that he's able to write in English now, he's confident in it. This is a great song. Heaven's a great song. Tells you a lot about his growth as an artist. Moving on to one of the singles, Lost. Now that I'm listening to the track outside of the music video, the track's amazing. Like, by far, you can tell that everything's just precisely put within the song. It's that feeling that it's a fast-paced song. You understand why it's a single. Although I might be blinded by the fact that really does sound like a Tyler, the Creator song. Or influenced by the same kind of vibes as Igor, Call Me If You Get Lost. That really as well as the idea of, I'm goddamn lost, right? Call me if you get lost, right? The breadcrumbs are seen, RM. The breadcrumbs are seen. Hopefully your fans can understand it. I just feel that even just the influence of Tyler's music on this track tells you how much RM has made his own way with it. Guitar riffs are amazing, as well as the halftime, the I get as well as I got temptation. It's good. It's a good track. Now that I'm hearing it without the music video, I feel like the music video took away a lot of the focus on the lyrics, as well as just that idea of you're so lost. I think it really harkens back to his younger days where he's like, I've never been to a club before, I hit the club, right? It's like, I've never felt so fine before, I hit the cloud. I don't know if that's drugs and paraphernalia reference, or it means like when he got famous, like hitting the clouds, right? I just think the refrain is kind of weak. Dump it on the ground, pick it up, throw it in the trunk. He has an obsession about trunks of cars, unless it's trunks of like elephants. Around the World in a Day. All right, Around the World in a Day, featuring Moses Sumney, of course. I have heard of Moses Sumney before. The beginning of the song overstays its welcome until the second verse is where it really rises with that distorted guard. Right? But the refrain, I believe it was the refrain, or was it the interlude with the vocoder effect, was great. I found that nice. I just feel that it's a 4-minute song. It kind of drags on a little bit in the beginning, but really picks up the pace right at the end, which was fine. I think this is definitely in the same realm as Lost and Right People, Wrong Place, as well as Domodachi. No, I think Domodachi and Heaven are kind of S tier. A tier is like Around the World in a Day, Lost. And yeah, I think this is a great song. It's just weird that obviously only the singles are being listened to. But yeah, great song within the album. Credit roll. It's kind of sad how he had to put that here, even though it's the least listened to song. Even though it's got a catchy rhythm to it. It's pretty short, but you can tell that RM is grappling this idea of being a mainstream artist who's trying to make this, full album release, studio album. You gotta listen to all the songs. Yet, that's just not the reality of things. So that's kind of heartbreaking. Come Back to Me. I have not heard the song. This is the other single within Right Place, Wrong Person. Come Back to Me is definitely the song that appeals to more of the K-pop stans. It's very ballad-like. And it's chill, it's not too heavy on the thematics. It's very much a love song where it's like, come back to me, please. I understand that. And it's got a nice fade out musical arrangement. And yeah, I'm not really too engrossed by it because I do believe there's harder hits within the track listing. But yeah, I do think it's one of the stronger songs, definitely. It's a good album ender. I do believe that. I just believe that Credit Roll should have been the ender. It just feels like you already have an interlude here, brother, and then you have this. Put this here, please. Have balls. I know we live in a Spotify era, streaming and everything. It just feels that you kind of chickened out of putting this here. You want people to listen to this actual song. That's why it has 1 million views, because people were listening to this song and it just so happened to roll into Credit Roll. If this outro wasn't nice enough, you could have just ended with Come Back to Me. It would have been the same. That's just my opinion. So final thoughts on RM's Right Place, Wrong Person. I do believe the themes are somewhat present within the entire album. It just feels that there's stronger tracks that take away from the throwaway track. So you have songs like Nuts, Out of Love, where it's just like, I don't understand why you put these songs in here. As well as Groin. I feel like those 3 songs, if you take these 3 songs out, you could have had a solid mini album, right? When it comes to exploring your creativity as a musician, you kind of have to figure out what makes a good single. Of course, he hits it with Lost, he hits it Come Back to Me. I do believe Around the World in a Day would have been great if it wasn't 4 minutes long. Could have cut it down to 3, made it a good single, as well as Domodachi. Domodachi's already 3. I might be wrong. He might be releasing more videos out to promote the album and promote these songs in particular because they're great songs, as well as Heaven. Heaven's a great song. Comes down to it that this song comes from a place of flawed perception of the idea of being lost. That idea where you kind of have some regret, you kind of have some feelings towards certain things, and that will never come out in true perfect vision because it's fueled by different emotion. It's not one specific garnered thing. Is this a breakup album? No, it's not, right? But it has sentiments such as like Igor and such as like other albums where it longs for someone, and I feel like that's where I kind of get some of the songs. But then you have tracks like Domodachi, right? You have tracks like Lost, where it's not necessarily about love, it's about himself. And knowing that it's about a lot of things, you can never really focus in and really be like, this is a thematic album, this is a concept album. It's not. I don't think it really is that big of a concept album compared to things like The Wall, Sam's Town, Igor, Call Me If You Get Lost. A lot of Tyler the Creator's music is very much thematic, conceptually sound, because he revolves the entire album around that. When he has other songs that don't fit into it, he will not put it in. I do believe this is brave and courageous exploration of music by RM. And it just sucks that a lot of the other songs do not hold up with some of the bangers on this album. Like Domodachi holds up, Question Mark even holds up in my honest opinion. If you're a real music head, just listen to it. It's great. It's Domi and JD Beck. If you listen to Thundercat, it's them, right? But you can obviously see the influence that Western music has had on RM having these features. It really lends to his exploration of creativity within the music scene. Even just with the tracks by himself, you can see that he's grown as an artist, I believe. It's not just, oh yeah, let's make these really electronic sounds that you would hear off a BTS album. This is definitely ringing true to what he likes. I must give those flowers to him. It's just unfortunate that with an album, you kind of have to hit all the right buttons, check everything off in order to make a great album. And that's where I'm coming from. I'm sure that he's achieved what he wanted to achieve. But when it comes to actually being a standout album where I'll be like, hey, this is an album that you have to listen to within 2024. I feel that he has songs that you should listen to within 2024. But I don't think that the album is definitely like that. We have to put albums at a higher standard because they're supposed to be complete works. This isn't just a mini album where it's like, hey, I have one single and then just a few throwaway tracks, right? Unfortunately, there will be times where albums will have throwaway tracks. You can obviously see that the proportion of listeners, just by the numbers, these are the fans listening to the songs, that not everyone likes the entire album. They only like 2 songs. Obviously, those are singles, so how can you hate people for liking the things that you released first? And by that credit, the album is pretty sound. Everything sounds good. There are a few songs that just lack substance when it comes to really nailing it down, where you go hit by hit by hit by hit by hit by hit by hit. I don't feel like that's happened here. Overall, I would give this album a 7.5 out of 10. And I do believe it's getting close to 8 rather than 7, just because there are standout songs. Most of the songs, I believe 7 of them out of 11 are pretty good. It just so happens that the leftover songs are kind of holding it back from being something great. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing RM grow musically throughout his experience. This is just his second studio solo album, so I hope to hear more from him, and hopefully we'll get an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 in the coming future. Comment down below what you think about Right Place, Wrong Person. Is it your album of the year? Do you think that it's one of his better releases from his discography, including other studio albums and mixtapes like Mono and Indigo? If you like the content, please do like and subscribe. I react/review anything under the sun, including music albums, music videos, movies, whatever we like. Hope you have a great day or night wherever you are, and Jaguar out.